The year was 1705, and the winds of change had carried me across the vast Atlantic Ocean to the untamed wilderness of colonial America. My name is William Turner, and I was a young man of 20, seeking a new beginning in a land of promise and uncertainty. My journey from England had been arduous, a long and perilous voyage aboard a cramped ship named the Mayflower, not to be confused with the famous vessel that had carried the Pilgrims to Plymouth nearly a century earlier. We had set sail from the bustling port of London, leaving behind the familiar sights and sounds of the old world. As I stepped onto the shore of the new world, a sense of awe and trepidation washed over me. The landscape stretched out before me in all its wild and uncharted glory. Towering forests loomed in the distance, and the air was thick with the sounds of unfamiliar creatures and the rustling of leaves. I had come to the colonies with dreams of a better life, free from the constraints of my homeland and the expectations of my family. Back in England, I had been born into a modest family of farmers, with little prospects for a future beyond the toil of the fields. America, with its promise of land and opportunity, had beckoned to me like a distant beacon. I was not alone in my quest for a fresh start. The colony I had chosen as my new home was Jamestown, Virginia, one of the earliest English settlements in the New World. It had been founded in 1607, and over the years it had grown into a bustling and diverse community. As I made my way into Jamestown, I was struck by the contrasts of this new world. The settlement was a mix of wooden shanties and more substantial dwellings, nestled amidst the towering trees and dense undergrowth. The streets were bustling with people of various backgrounds and walks of life: English settlers, indentured servants, African slaves, and Native Americans. I had secured work as an apprentice to a local blacksmith, a grizzled and weathered man named John Thornton. He was a skilled craftsman with hands that bore the scars of a lifetime of labor at the forge. Under his tutelage, I would learn the art of metalworking and the ways of survival in this challenging new environment. Life in Jamestown was not without its challenges, especially in our interactions with the Native American tribes who inhabited the region. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, fueled by misunderstandings and cultural differences. The settlers and the indigenous peoples had a complex and often contentious relationship, one that required diplomacy and vigilance. One fateful day in the summer of 707, our settlement faced a crisis that would test our resolve and our unity. A severe drought had gripped the region, withering our crops and leaving us on the brink of famine. The once abundant James River had dwindled to a mere trickle, and desperation hung in the air. The situation grew dire, and we knew that we needed help. Our leaders decided to send a delegation to the nearby Pamunkey tribe, seeking their assistance in securing food and water. I volunteered to be part of the group, eager to prove my worth to my new community. The journey to the Pamunkey village was an arduous one, filled with treacherous terrain and sweltering heat. As we arrived, we were met with cautious curiosity by the Native Americans. We presented our case and requested their aid, hoping that they would understand our desperate plight. The tribal chief, a wise and weathered man named Wahunsonacock, listened to our plea. He spoke in a language I did not understand, but his gestures and expressions conveyed a sense of empathy and understanding. After what felt like an eternity, he nodded in agreement. The Pamunkey tribe provided us with much-needed provisions: corn, beans, and fresh water. It was a gesture of goodwill and cooperation that eased the suffering of our settlement and forged a bond between our peoples. It was a lesson in the power of diplomacy and the importance of mutual respect. Over the years, I continued to learn and adapt to the challenges of life in the colonies. I witnessed the growth of our settlement, the expansion of our fields, and the construction of new homes and businesses. The promise of this land was slowly being realized, and I was proud to be a part of it. As I look back on those early years in Jamestown, I am filled with a sense of gratitude for the opportunities that America provided me. I had left behind the familiar comforts of England in search of a better life, and in the wilderness of the New World, I had found not only hardship but also resilience, friendship, and the chance to build a new beginning.